All right, so are you ready to jump into something totally different today?
Always up for a challenge. What do we have?
Okay, so we're diving into the world of this guy, Raymond Sult. And he's like a craftsman, but not in the way you'd expect.
Oh, I love where this is going already.
Right, so he's doing this whole blend of industrial art and like actual functional stuff. It's pretty wild.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What kind of stuff are we talking about? Lay it on me.
So we've got his website, but then also all these shops, Amazon, Etsy, even his own eBay store, the whole 9 yards. And it's amazing because you get to see how he presents his work in different ways. Like on his site, it's all about the artistry, but then you go to his shops and it's all custom antenna mounts and
So
stuff.
he's got this whole practical side too. That's fascinating.
Yeah. And that's part of what we're going to unpack today. Like, who is Raymond Sult? What does he actually do? Because honestly, it's way more than meets the eye at first glance.
I'm ready to have my mind blown. Let's do it.
Okay, so buckle up because we are about to take a deep dive into the world of Raymond Sult, the self-proclaimed Machartist.
A cartist. Okay, you got to tell me more about that.
Oh, yeah, that's all him. It's like he mashed up machinist
Yeah.
and artist, which kind of sums up his whole deal. And get this, before he landed on Raymond Sult, the guy was cranking out creations under all these different names. Custom antenna mounts, Rizan Technologies, even Ray built for a while there.
Whoa, hold on. So it wasn't always this Macartist identity. It seems like there's a story there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think those names tell a story in themselves. Like if you trace it back, you can almost see this evolution from purely functional work to something way more artistic.
You know, that's a really interesting observation. I'm seeing it too.
Right. So to set the stage, we got to start with the basics. Raymond Sult, he's based out in Evansville, Indiana, and this whole Machartist thing is like his mission statement, you know?
But it's not like he's gone full-on abstract artist and left those practical roots behind.
Oh, absolutely not. We're talking handcrafted, heavy-duty antenna mounts.
The real deal.
Yeah, and not just your average car antenna either. These are for semi-trucks, Freightliner Cascadias, Peterbilts.
Those are some serious rigs.
Seriously. I mean, before we dove into this, I had no idea there was even a need for custom antenna mounts for trucks.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole thing.
What makes him focus on that specifically, do you think?
Well, think about it. Truckers live and breathe by their CB radios, right? Communication, navigation, all that.
Oh, that's right. It's their lifeline out there on the road.
Exactly. So a shaky antenna, that's not just an inconvenience, it's a big deal.
Makes total sense. So he's found this whole community to serve with those skills.
And he's really good at what he does. Did you see where he talks about using manual machines?
You know, actually, yeah. That caught my eye, too. I thought it was interesting.
It's incredible. No fancy computer-controlled stuff. We're talking old school, hands-on craftsmanship with those lathes and milling machines.
See, I'd probably lose a finger trying to operate one of those things.
Well, it's not exactly beginner-level stuff, but
Yeah.
that's what makes it so impressive. He's got that level of skill and precision.
Wow. And each piece is like one of a kind then, because he's making them all by hand.
Exactly. Every curve, every angle, it's all him shaping the metal with his own two hands.
Okay, now I'm picturing him in this workshop, surrounded by all these tools, meticulously crafting each mount. It's pretty cool when you think about it like that.
It is. And remember those specific names we saw, like the Harvest HD330 direct thread-on adapter?
Yeah, and the Freightliner Cascadia CB radio antenna mount. They sound so official, like something you'd see in a catalog.
Well, that Harvest HD330, that tells you he knows his stuff. That adapter is for a very specific type of antenna, the kind those long-haul truckers use most often.
So he's not just making generic mounts, he's tailoring them to the needs of his customers. That's pretty awesome.
Exactly. He's bridging that gap between mass-produced and custom-made, which is a really interesting place to be.
It's like bespoke metalwork for truckers. I kind of love it.
Me too. And it gets even more interesting because, like we said, those antenna mounts, they're just one part of his whole deal.
Oh, yeah. We can't forget about the other side of Raymond Sult the artist. Remember how his website said less industrial, more artistic?
He's not kidding about that. It's like this whole other dimension of his work just opens up, and it's incredible.
For sure. I was scrolling through, and I saw everything, machined artwork, welded pieces, even some things listed as yard art.
Right. It's such a wide range. He's not sticking to just one style or one type of art, which is really cool to see.
I got to admit, that yard art thing really piqued my curiosity. Like, what exactly constitutes yard art in the world of a Machartist?
It's a good question. I'm imagining something amazing. But, he does mention these tensegrity sculptures and something called compression suspension art.
Okay, tensegrity. I'm gonna be honest, I had to look that one up.
It's wild, isn't it? It's like sculptures that almost seem to defy gravity.
I think I saw pictures, those ones with the wires holding everything
Yeah,
together.
exactly. That's tensegrity. It's all about balancing tension and compression to create these structures that look like they shouldn't even work.
That's some next-level engineering right there. Or is it art? I can't even tell.
It's both. That's the beauty of Raymond's work. He's blending those worlds seamlessly. And then with
Mhm.
the compression suspension stuff, he's adding hanging elements, using flexible materials. It's like he's giving his sculptures movement.
And he's working with metal for all of this, right? Didn't he have something on his website about the materials he uses?
Yeah, mostly 6 or 6-1 aluminum and mild steel. They're both super strong, durable, perfect for the kind of artwork he's doing, especially those big outdoor pieces. And the welding techniques, he switches between stick and MIG welding depending on what he's making.
Wow. So whether he's creating a delicate curve in a sculpture or fusing metal for an antenna mount, this guy knows how to handle his materials. He's like a metal whisperer or something.
Seriously. And speaking of showcasing his work, his online shops, they tell a whole other layer of this story.
It really is fascinating to see how he presents himself in those different online spaces.
Totally. Like you go from this really polished website showcasing his art to these very specific niche shops where he's solving a problem for a particular group of people.
And rocking those 5-star reviews, might I add.
Exactly. That's huge. Especially on a platform like Amazon, people trust those reviews. And he's clearly delivering on his promises.
It says a lot about his dedication to quality, that's for sure.
And his eBay shop, remember how he had those super specific categories? Cascadia antenna mounts, semi-truck antenna mounts, ham radio antenna adapters.
That's like he knows exactly who he's talking to.
Oh, absolutely. No mess around there. And then there's Etsy, which is interesting because he only has a couple of things listed there.
Yeah, just the Cascadia mount and then that Harvest HD330 adapter, if I'm remembering right.
It's like he's chosen those two to represent his work, like a little best of collection.
Maybe that's where he gets the most traffic. Or maybe those are just the pieces he's most proud of. Who knows?
Could be. And it makes sense, right? Because Etsy is all about handcrafted, unique items, and that's exactly what he's offering.
Plus, he does custom orders too. Didn't we see that on his website?
We did. Which tells you he's not just about selling what he's already made. He's willing to collaborate, to really listen to what his customers want and bring their visions to life.
It's like taking that craftsmanship to a whole other level. It's personal.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just the finished product, too. Remember how he signs off on those Etsy messages? Raymond Sult.
There's something about that, right? It just adds
Yeah.
this really human touch to the whole experience.
Totally. You're not just buying something from a faceless shop. You're connecting with the maker, the artist behind it all.
So after taking this deep dive into the world of Raymond Sult, I have to say I'm pretty blown away. What started as custom antenna mounts turned into this whole exploration of art, craftsmanship, and this guy's incredible journey.
Right. Talk about exceeding expectations. He's found this amazing way to blend his technical skills with his artistic vision, and the results speak for themselves.
I'm still thinking about those tensegrity sculptures, to be honest. Like, how does he even come up with that stuff?
See, it's inspiring, isn't it? Makes you think about all the different ways we can express ourselves, all the hidden talents we might have just waiting to be uncovered.
Totally. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. Raymond Sult's story reminds us that we don't have to fit into just one box. We can be machinists and artists or whatever combination lights us up.
Exactly. Embrace those passions, even if they seem unexpected or unconventional. Who knows what amazing things we might create?
Couldn't have said it better myself. So, if you're listening out there, take a page from Raymond Sult's book and get out there and make something incredible. We'll be right here, ready to be amazed by what you come up with.